Yo, what's up? It's Someone That's Someone, and welcome to Deliriant Week 2022. To start things off, I got this big collab with the homies for you guys to get us in the mood and hyped up for it. Joining with me today is Low-Key Fish, Tales from the Trip, Bori, and Vivek. Us OGs are going to read a quick Deliriant trip report, and Low-Key Fish is going to give you guys some information about Deliriants. And I gotta say, we got some pretty bizarre stories this year, and we'll also be introducing two Deliriants we haven't talked about yet. Just trust me when I tell you this year will be very fitting for this Halloween season. So it's time to get delirious, it's time to get scary. Get ready for a week full of Deliriant reports coming up. Now to get everyone in the mood, here's something from me and the boys. Enjoy, guys.
Yo, what is good? I'm Low-Key Fish, and today I'll be explaining what Deliriants are. This is a class of substances which are considered to be true hallucinogens because the visuals they produce are nearly impossible to tell apart from reality. One of the most common deliriants is Benadryl or DPH, but even tobacco can be considered a deliriant. The term deliriant is used to distinguish these substances from psychedelic and dissociatives, due to their primary effect causing a state of delirium. A state of delirium is characterized by confusion, amnesia, or mental discombobulation, sometimes even causing people to have full conversations with shadow people or entities that do not exist. The natural reference for deliriants has been described by some users as being similar to sleepwalking in a nightmare. It can even feel like a schizophrenic episode. Benadryl is a super common deliriant, and at high doses it can cause auditory and visual hallucinations or make the user feel like they are trapped between fantasy and reality. Uncured tobacco is also considered a deliriant due to its very high nicotine content, resulting in a delirious hallucinogenic intoxication. Despite the fully legal status of several common deliriant plants and substances, they are not popular as recreational substances due to the severe and unpleasant nature of the hallucinations they produce. A lot of the time, it creates unwillingness to repeat the experience because of how hostile it can feel. Additionally, some deliriants such as Benadryl can cause permanent damage to the brain, and long-term usage is linked to cognitive impairment, memory loss, and dementia. For these reasons, it is highly advised to use harm reduction practices if using these substances, because no one wants permanent brain damage, right? So please just remember to always stay safe. My name is Low-Key Fish. Peace out.
I am an experienced user. I have done blow, weed, hash, dilaudid, oxycodone in many forms, fentanyl, ecstasy, and heroin. But one of my best trips was on Benadryl. I take it daily for allergies, but one day it just wouldn't kick in. So I took 8 50-milligram pills after my usual 100-milligram dose. After about an hour, I crashed on my bed, and I saw my aunt sitting in a corner injecting heroin. Not fun. Then I heard whispering all around me, equally not fun. This went on for about an hour. I saw such great things as bears drinking tea and a shark trying to eat my bookshelf. Then I passed out and slept for 6 hours, woke up at 10 p.m., famished and overly energetic. It felt like I had just taken a handful of caffeine pills, which by the way is a bad idea. I took 2 grams of caffeine one time, and almost died.
What is going on, everyone? Is the founder of the Tripsters here, Blurry, and the trip report I have for you guys today is called I Lost Touch with Reality. It is a dose of 1 tablespoon and the body weight is 170 pounds. I have tried to make Datura work for a couple of months, but the effects were mild, with no hallucinations. I have ate a leaf that I found at a park, and all I got was a light head and blurred vision. But this time, it was different. I took 1 tablespoon that I had found in my backyard from an open seed pod. Later that night, after feeling very lightheaded, I kept seeing shadows out of the corner of my eyes. I thought I was being followed. The clock said free something, but I think I was just tripping on it. I wanted to get something to eat to make me feel a bit better, but that was nearly impossible. I ended up putting food in the milk jug because I thought it was a bowl. At this point, I had lost touch with reality. It seemed like I was in a dream where I had emotion. I saw two people sleeping on my couch, and they would never go away. I couldn't tell if they were real or not. I kept seeing my friend sleeping in a box, which was weird because he was never at my house. When I woke up, I saw a girl in my room that I see at school, but I didn't know her, and I looked at her and pointed to my friend that was in the box, but was now sleeping on my couch, and when I looked on the couch again, all that was there was a pillow, and the girl was gone. If you are going to try Datura, it's worth your time to experience it, but have a sitter. The things I saw were very, very real to me.
Reality Trickery, an Atropa Belladonna trip report. This is bad shit. The problem is, you do not know what reality is or when it is. One minute you puff a joint with one friend, the next minute you're miles away at the beach sitting in the water. Turning your head or sneezing will change where you are and what you are doing totally, to where you don't know what reality is. A note, if you are using the buddy system, highly recommended, your buddy will talk so fast you will not understand what they're saying. They'll have no colour in the eyes, only black, and talk in tongues. This stuff is not to be taken lightly. LSD does not hold a candle to the trickery which will be played by this plant. Please be careful. I was very lucky to have only drank the last quarter glass of Belladonna tea. After jumping out of a moving car and running full speed through the bushes, I'm talking jungle terrain here, my best friend was lost in the Florida Keys mangroves for almost 24 hours. He was half blind for about 3 days afterwards. Best of luck. Stick to the reef, I say.
A demonized drug. For nearly 2 years, I have had quite a fascination with solanaceous plants. I read everything I could find on Daturas, Brugmansias, nightshade, and the like. I had experimented with small doses of Brugmansia and smaller of Datura to little effect. A dry throat and tired, dilated pupils. I finally decided to really give it a try and ate 100 seeds. About 20 on the hour and then 40 or so at once. I also smoked about a dozen. I then ate 2 Datura leaves and 2 Brugmansia leaves. I noticed very little until I decided to go to bed at about 11:30. After a while not sleeping, as sometimes I get very bad insomnia, I decided to read a book. I sat up in bed and began to read some readily available story. I can't now recall what it was about, but I found it very interesting. Ironically, I was reminded of a Datura report here at Earwood called the Infinity Book. I then looked away from the book and looked back, and there was nothing there except my hands, palms up as if I was holding a book. Wow, I thought. That was one nifty hallucination. I didn't feel at all high at the time, no confusion or delirium. I continued to lay in bed as people I know streamed through my door one at a time. They would either face away from me when I tried to converse with them, or just stare blankly at me and smile or giggle once in a while. A close friend of mine walked in at one point and stared at me coldly while I asked her how she was that night. For some reason, I would always try to start small talk with these people, even though I sorta knew they weren't really there. She then proceeded to crawl up onto my desk and assume a fetal position for several minutes before disappearing. One thing that happened throughout the experience was me trying to grab things that weren't there. I would be thirsty and reach for a water bottle, only to have my hand go right through it. I would try and adjust my pillow or retrieve a blanket, but my hand would slide right through them. It became really irritating. Several other strange things happened that night, such as seeing what looked like hundreds of large black rodents scurrying around my floor and watching a television that I found not to be on. Similar to the book thing. All in all, it was a very nice experience. Very strange, but sorta comforting and not at all scary.